when you're getting ready to paint the next room in either your house or apartment and you're not quite sure how much paint you're going to need for that particular project, Ace Hardware has a calculator that you can use to get the best estimate of how many gallons and quarts of paint that you're going to need. And we're going to find that on acehardware.com. So let's go ahead and just go to the home page here for acehardware.com, and we're going to show you how to get to the paint calculator. So when you're on acehardware.com, the home page, you're going to want to go to the Paint Studio link here at the top middle. So go ahead and click on that. We're going to go over to this Tips and Tools section right here. Click on there. And then this will bring you to the link to get you to the calculator. So go ahead and you're going to want to click there. And that brings you to the paint calculator page. Now scrolling down, you're going to see different sections in this calculator. And we're going to go ahead and go through them in just a minute. But at the bottom here, on the bottom right, this is your project total. This is going to be the total estimated number of gallons and total estimated number of quarts that you're going to need for your project per color. Okay, so you're going to use this calculator for one color at a time. So let's say for your project you have one room. So this first section of the calculator here are the room dimensions. So the length, the width, and the height. And this is where you're going to want to put those dimensions in. So to make things easy, we're just going to say we're going to do a 10 by 10 by 10 room. So you would just drag this dial till you see the number 10 for each one of those sections. And then that's going to update your total on the right here. So for your walls, you're going to need 1 gallon of paint for a 10 by 10 by 10 room for this one specific color. Now, if you're going to paint the ceiling with that same color that you're putting on the walls, then you're going to want to click this box in this section here and say yes. And that's going to add a quart to your total number of gallons and quarts that you need. Now in this section here, we see number of windows and number of doors. And we have a 5 foot by 3 foot, 7 foot by 3 foot. So to make it a little bit simpler, Ace has put these dimensions here so that when you're figuring out the total number of space for your windows, you have something to go by, because each room, windows are not all the same size. So you can take however many windows you have in the room and what the dimensions are for those, that's where you would put it in here. So if you have total window space of 5 foot by 3 foot, you can go ahead and drag this dial to 1. And then the same with the doors. If you have a single entry door into the room, you can go ahead and drag this dial up to 1. And you'll see here that there is nothing that was updated when we did that. Now this section here, because this is space that you're not going to be painting with the color, any amount that you're going to have here is going to be subtracted from your project total. Now with the total number of space here, 1 5 foot 3 foot space for a window and 1 7 foot by 3 foot space for a door, this calculator is saying that there's not enough empty space here to subtract your total from your total project at the bottom here. However, if you had multiple windows in the room, let's say you had 4 windows in the room and you had a double door entry to get into the room, now we see that this total is updated to 1 quart. So at the project total here at the bottom, you're going to see you only have 1 gallon of paint because there's enough space here not being painted that you don't actually need 1 quart of paint. And then at the bottom here, we have the number of coats. So let's say you're going to want to do 2 coats of paint. Now we have updated project total estimate of 2 gallons, 0 quarts for this particular color of paint for your project. Now, like I said earlier, this calculator is used, per room, per color. So let's say you have 2 rooms that you want to paint with the same color. You can go ahead and go back here and just update this with the total square footage of the rooms combined. So for example, to make it easy, let's say you have 2 10 by 10 by 10 rooms. So then you just drag these dials up to 20, and that's going to give you the total number of wall space between all the rooms. So we can see here, total amount was updated to 4 gallons for both of these rooms for the walls. And we're going to go ahead and keep the ceiling there. So that was updated as well to 1 gallon. It was 1 quart when we started with 1 room. Now it's 1 gallon. And let's go ahead and say that we're going to keep the total amount of window space between those 2 rooms the same. But now we have an extra door because we have 2 rooms. So again, not enough non-painted space to update this from a quart. And so that's going to stay the same. And then number of coats per room, that's going to be 2 coats. We'll keep it the same. So your total project estimate for this one color between both of these rooms is going to be 9 gallons and 2 quarts. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now, if you have multiple colors that you're using throughout both of these rooms, and you want to find out how much you're going to need of the second color, then you can drag these down back to 0 if you want to zero it out and start fresh, or if you want a faster way, just click your refresh button here at the top of the screen and that'll zero everything out for you, and you can start with the second color. And you can do that for however many colors that you have for your project. And that is a run through of how to use the paint calculator in the Paint Studio on acehardware.com.